Good,
What's up?
good morning.
Look at that beautiful image of that ugly old man. Oh crap!
At least I'm still kicking.
Yeah, I want to
I
kick some
never figured
people.
I'd make it this far.
I'd love to kick some people, preferably internet security freaking morons.
Uh, how's the knees this morning?
Eh, knees.
Eh,
It's all yucky out. It's all foggy and misty. It's almost like Florida.
huh.
For another 5 degrees warmer, it would be Florida. It's still pretty warm. I mean, it's in the mid 60s already.
Full time. Thanks for reminding me.
They're talking about it being freaking hot starting tomorrow, like mid 80s every day,
Cool.
that's too freaking hot for me.
We got hot down here now. It's low 90s every day.
Screw that.
Just make friends with an air conditioning guy and you're all right.
Thing about cold is you can put like coats on. There's no cooling yourself in Florida when it gets that hot. I mean, you can
Yeah,
sit in
John
there.
Mack's got the secret. He gets
I'm
naked.
an outdoor person. I don't like sitting in the house for very long.
Good morning, eccentric nut. How you doing today?
That AC really screws with my breathing.
Dries the air out too much?
I don't know if it's that. It's never quite really dry. It just, I think most of them, it's like the moldy, crappy, yucky, freaking recycled air. I like fresh, clean, especially right now. The trees are just really, I mean, they're really leafed up now. It's actually green out there, big time.
I miss the green in the wintertime up there.
Wintertime. No green here in the wintertime.
Evergreens is about it.
Yeah. Brown and dirty and yucky and leafy and ugh.
That's why I'm down here.
No sun.
Hey, Vince, good morning.
I'm back for. The sad thing is all these guys that are at work freaking watching this stupid ass stream. Hey, YouTube just told me I'm live.
Ain't that sweet?
Yeah, aren't they nice guys? Idiots. They're all idiots. You missed my post on Twitter last night. You got to start following Twitter. Just do read some of the stuff.
Good morning, Robert Reynolds. How you doing today?
I put the most swear words in one sentence ever. It's not even the most swear words. I repeated the same swear word over and over and over again in multiple instances in meetings, but all coming out to the same damn thing.
Well, have a good birthday celebration, eccentric nut. And have a great day. Swear words. My dad was, for a while, a drill instructor for the Marines at Paris Island.
Didn't he just have his birthday like a week or two ago?
I'm not sure.
It was like a week or two ago. I could swear I remember in the stream him saying that.
That's a little time before the morning gets busy. This is heart attack time of the day, Vince. A lot of the heart attacks happen in the morning.
Yeah, when they first get up, they all stroke out.
Yeah, vapor locked.
That's when I stroke out, is in the morning or really late at night. Yeah, like a dumbass, I stripped my computer yesterday.
Strip?
Yeah, I used to beta test for like Apple and Microsoft and, not bigwig, but, should say alpha test. They used to call it alpha testing. They hadn't quite released it yet, but, they wanted it out in the public to see, more computers. Anyways, so I used to install crap, and not just the OS. I mean, all kinds of like apps, and so I used to install crap and delete it, install crap and delete it, install crap and delete it. Because Apple has people do it like, all Apple programs have to be verified by Apple before you can supposedly install them. So you used to verify apps, and they just send you, a list of apps, and you download a bunch of them and run them for a week, and then you delete them, and it'd leave crap in my computer. And over, a course of a year doing that, it's just, you get to the point where you just, once a year, I would just back the thing up. I would dump everything off it. I'd erase the drive and start from scratch, and install brand new operating system and just reinstall the apps I wanted. And I got used to doing it every year. I haven't done it in a couple years with this computer, so I decided to just do it yesterday. I was having problems with this mouse, which I'm still having problems with. The software sucks. So it's like, you know what? I'll just strip it and reinstall everything brand new from scratch, just to make sure it's, not something I got in the operating system conflicting with it, or some leftover hidden library file that never got deleted kind of thing. Man, what a mistake. I forgot how much of a pain in the ass it is to do that. And it's not even the reinstalling. It's all the freaking stupid passwords and super security, and Google is the worst. Oh my God. You type in your password, you enter their verification thing. They say, oh, it's still not good enough. You don't have this on or that on or the security. And they don't tell you anything. They just say, didn't work. Refuse to connect to server.
What do they want? A DNA sample? They want a DNA sample, I think. Good morning, Sergio. How you doing?
I have like 5 or 6 Gmail accounts, depending on. I got some for quadcopters. I got some for mountain biking. I got some for 3D printing, and then I got one. I've got a like spam mail one, and then I got my personal one that nobody has. It's just little family crap. Yep. I literally have like 6 or 7 Gmail accounts, plus like 4 or 5 Comcast email accounts. Trying to get all those things turned back. I've only got like 3 of the 7 or 10 or whatever I have freaking up and running right now.
Yeah, Eccentric Nuts was last week. It was a week ago. And old Curmudgeon is here. Good morning.
Curmudgeon of the oldness. What is a curmudgeon?
Cranky old man.
I know. It was a cranky old man.
There's a little curmudgeon in all of it.
Shotgun in his hand. Sitting on his rocker out on the porch telling the kids to get off their lawn. Get off my lawn! I remember being a kid and like people, old guys would chase you around with freaking rock salt shotguns. I've had rock salt shot at me more times than I can count. Can you imagine freaking shooting somebody with rock salt these days? Oh my God, those shoots would be incredible.
They would take you away.
Expected it. If you get out on somebody's lawn and you start doing something stupid and they came out with a shotgun, they give you one warning and that was it. And if you didn't run away, they freaking shot you with the freaking rock salt. Oh yeah, I mean, God, that's actually sad because I think, I'm not an anti-gun person. I'm not for guns. I'm really neither nor. I think we need to regulate it some, but I don't have all the answers. But definitely something has to be done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not everybody in the world should freaking be carrying a gun. There's crazy people out there. That's obvious. But I'm not against them either. But I don't see a problem with people defending their property with rock salt shotguns.
Well, in Texas, you can shoot after dark to protect your property.
Yeah. Well, Connecticut, you can shoot, but they have to be in the house now, which I think is also wrong. You can't just shoot somebody because they're out in your yard, which, I'm sorry, it's still my damn yard.
Well, if they're in your front yard pointing a gun at you, you can shoot them.
Yeah, if they're pointing a gun at me. But if someone enters my garage and steals my car, I can't shoot them. If they
Yeah, it's
enter
just
my
property.
doorway into my house uninvited, I can shoot them.
Yeah. It's just property. A car is just property. Lives you can't replace. Property you can.
Yeah, I don't care. You steal something, your life is forfeit. I'll shoot your ass. I don't even have a gun. I'll find something to shoot you with.
How's things in Canada today? Hope you're doing good.
Anyone stealing something like that doesn't deserve to live, as far as I'm concerned.
Where does it stop, though? A bicycle?
No, I get it, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't have all the answers. There has to be some, and it's hard to draw a line because, like you say, there's no line. It's a gray area. And I mean, I was a stupid kid. I did stupid crap when I was a kid. But most of the time we did it, and it was minor. I mean, I stole bicycles from friends and stuff, or friends. But you tortured them for a week, and you ended up giving them it back, or it passed around a couple. You didn't I don't know. You had fun, and it wasn't proper. Don't get me wrong. I look back at it and go, "Holy crap, we're a bunch of idiots." I mean, we were assholes. But it was never. I mean, these kids now stabbing each other, and it's just like, what the frick? I mean, I can't tell you how many guys you have an argument, you beat the shit out of each other. 5 minutes later, you're out back smoking a cigarette in the smoking area again. You know what I mean? Hey, that was fun, dude. You got me really good with her left hook. You know what I mean? You fought, you got over it, you did your thing, and you moved on.
Yeah, doesn't work that way now.
No. I mean, literally, I've gotten in more than a few fights where, 20 minutes later, you're outside going, dude, you got me really good with that left hook, It's like people don't get over crap no more. They don't just let it they let everything stir now because you can't just, let it go.
Oh boy, I had another crappy night. I was up in the middle.
I don't know. It's just guns need to be regulated. They don't need to be taken away. They need to be regulated. It needs to be harder to get a gun than it is to get your driver's license. It's that simple. Yeah. And I think guns are cool. I don't own one because I have no need for one. I think they're nice and cool, and I'd rather we used to have a gun range here. I think they shut it down. I haven't been there in years, but you used to be able to go there and play for a day. Yeah, which is fine. I'm just not I'm too. I know I'd end up shooting something by accident, fucking around. I'd drop it or forget about it, or I just don't have, and I don't need it. It's whatever. But we used to have a rent for, play for a day gun range in Niantic. And you could go in and you spend $100. You hand them $100, and they had these racks of guns. And you just go up and grab one and go out to the range, and they had freaking small Gatling guns and crap, which you had to be supervised. But you go in, you give them $100, and you get I don't know, it was 3 or 4 hours, and you were limited to so many shells, and you could just, hey, I want to go blow off a shotgun for 10 minutes, and they'd hand you a shotgun and a dozen shells, and you go out on a range and blow off a shotgun. And, hey, that was cool. I want to freaking try a pistol. Okay, and they hand you a pistol, and they make sure you know what you're doing and everything. And you go out on a range. And that was fun. Oh, we lost Jimmy. He shot himself in the foot. Grabbed his gun and then shot himself in the foot. That would be something I would do. If I owned a gun, I'd probably shoot myself in the foot or in the ass. I don't know what happened to Jimmy. I had a gun range in the basement of high school. That's probably not the best place to have a gun range. Yeah, I don't think that would go over so big in today's world. In the high school. It's actually probably a pretty good place to have it if it's safe and everything. Yeah, he's back. So did you shoot yourself in the foot?
No, I think your OBS hiccuped.
Oh, yeah. You're lagging way behind with your audio, too.
No, I still had YouTube open. I just closed it.
Yeah, it's still kind of off sync, but it's not bad.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I used to, before they built the house, we used to have, I still got a couple of, old brown Besses and Revolutionary War guns, because we did the whole 1776 bull crap, dressed all up. My parents used to get all into that. Dragged us while I was a kid. We freaking went all over the country doing reenactments, blowing off the freaking, the cannons and the freaking little black powder freaking guns. And
Black powder's fun to shoot.
yeah. There's a lesson learned there, I'll tell you what. I'll never forget the stupid ass. Everybody learns it, I bet. I bet you've done it if you've used a shoulder weapon a lot, where you always go, they say put it against your shoulder, blah, blah, pull the trigger. They say never hold it off your shoulder, even if it gets sore. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's getting sore. I'm going to hold it off my shoulder.
Damn. That was really sore.
Like shooting yourself in the shoulder. It's like, you dumbass. Of course the gun's going to kick back. I was like 13 holding this like freaking 7-foot long black powder freaking 50 caliber monstrosity in my hand. Them things are huge, man. The balls are, I don't know, how freaking big is that?
50 to 55 caliber, half-inch or bigger.
Yeah,
they're about that. Eccentric nut.
Because the best part back then, we used to do, I don't know, well, you know the area, Groton, we have Fort Griswold over there, which was a big Revolutionary War fort. And we used to sit up on the fort back in those days, and you could fire it with, couldn't use lead in the cannons. They steel sleeve the cannons. You had to have a steel sleeve in them, which wasn't realistic, but it was a safety thing. You couldn't use a cast because it could light off the next load. Steel sleeve, and we could fire, for live rounds, we could fire dog food cans full of concrete. That's what we used instead of a lead ball. There was something about the lead that wasn't safe. It got hot and splattered. But we had the 2 cannons, and we had 2 mortars. And, the regiment that my parents were all in. Again, I was like 11 or 12. But we used to go to Fort Griswold like 4 or 5 times during the summer and do little reenactments. And we used to blow freaking cannonballs out into the river. Concrete. You imagine doing that now?
They're probably still there.
Oh, they're still there. But think about it. I mean, domestic boats freaking going by, and we just, you do the big horn, and, obviously you have enough common sense, approximately where it's going, and make sure there's no boats there. Oh, my God. Can you imagine trying to do that in today's society? Everyone would be having a freaking hissy fit. Oh, you're going to kill somebody. They even did the chain balls, because that's what was big. That's what Groton and Fort Trumbull and London used to use, was chain balls. They didn't use a regular ball. They were made to take out a ship. So they had to, 2 balls with chain link between them. Yep. So they were doing that with concrete. You got to see what that does when it hits the water, man.
A lot of spray.
Oh, the mortars are like that big each ball. There's 2 of them. I mean, the mortar's like freaking this big around. It takes like 2.5, 3 pounds of freaking black powder every time you fire it. And I'll tell you what, it hits the water, and it's almost as loud sound-wise hitting the water as it is when you fire the freaking cannon. Mm-hmm. The mortars were cool. I like the mortars better than the cannon. That and the blunderbuss. You ever seen one of them things?
Yes.
That's like a handheld cannon. It's like this big around barrel. It's about that long. It's only about a foot and a half long. You hold it at your side. You go. They used to,
Good morning, Askew View.
I guess they used to fill them with, I don't know, forks and knives and kitchenware and whatever they could find. They just stuff down the barrel and light the thing off and shoot at the enemy. Get poked in the freaking eye with a fork. That would be cool. I got into that.
My dad was the instructor on the rifle range at Paris Island for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He was a sniper during World War II.
That's one thing I've never fired is a nice sniper rifle. And I think that's my thing. I could, even in the video games, very seldom I play them, but when I play Call of Duty or pretty much any of those first-person video games, I love sniping. I love just sitting there waiting. Somebody comes in the crosshairs,
Next.
Take them out. Who the hell was that? And then they come running right back to the same spot. It's ba-ding! You get the guy in the game. What the hell? You shot me 6 times. Well, you kept running into the same area. It's duh. Look, I got shot here, so I'm going to run back right to the same spot and get shot again.
Yeah, I got a nice Mosin Nagant 7.62 by 5.4 sniper rifle.
Yeah, I know nothing about them. The most fun I ever fired was a little Gatling gun. It was tiny, belt fed.
I'm not tremendously good with rifle. I'm good with handgun. Rifles, I'm not so good.
Yeah, I was awesome with it, BB guns and 22s and that kind of crap growing up. Oh, God. I was really good at that back when I could see.
Yeah, I was shooting out in Texas one day. I was at Bass Pro Shops range. I had target up, and I just hit it all the way back. I got my 44 mag. And I'm dropping them in a pattern, the size of a coffee can. The instructor comes up. He says, "Do you mind if I try that?" So here you go. Load it up, hand it to him. Boom, 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 boom. They're inside of a soda can. I go, "Holy shit, where did you learn to shoot like that?" He says, "Marine Corps pistol team."
I did the classic. First time I ever shot a 45, I did the classic. Didn't really hold it right and did the whole kickback and took it right in the forehead. Did that. Not hard. I was lucky enough I had enough intelligence by that time to know what I was getting into, but it kicked way harder than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, we don't have any ranges where I can get out to 900 yards. I think they do 300 or 500 is tops at the range around here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think we have a 300-footer around here.
Well, 300 yards.
300 yards, whatever. Well, there is the National Terrorist Training Camp now.
We got
Stone's Ranch is now a federal. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You must know where Stone's Ranch was if you were in the area.
No, that one I don't know.
That was that was our airport / tank training area for right here for the National Guard. But when they decommissioned all the A-10s, I don't know 15 years ago, the feds came in and took it over. I guess the state still owns it, but the feds are running it or something like that. I don't know. But it's a terrorist training camp. They have old B-52 airplane bodies sitting there, just a body with no wings and crap, and they train on how to attack terrorists taking over freaking towns, and there's little wooden shacks out in the woods. There's no more airport. The airstrip is a little town from Afghanistan or something. You know what I mean? It's all shacks, and it's a terrorist training camp. how to fight terrorists, not how to be a terrorist. No more airport. I used to like those A10s. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're so loud." It's like, yeah, but they're freaking cool.
When I worked at Hamilton Standard across the street from Bradley Airport, we'd play softball after work. We had softball league, and the A10s would be out practicing. Those things are amazing. They come by 500,000 feet off the ground. They're going so slow. You're
Yeah,
looking for the strings, holding it up in the air. And then they snap the wings perpendicular to the ground and do a 180 and flatten out and didn't lose any altitude. How the hell do they do that?
I know it. And the freaking gun on the front of that thing. If they fire that for a certain amount of time, they can actually stop the plane from flight. The gun has more backward force than the freaking jets have forward force or some crap. They can actually slow down the plane by firing the big whatever it is in the front, the big cannon.
The Vulcan, they call that gun. It's the
Yeah,
Vulcan.
I don't know.
Unleashes hell. I worked on that. We had to put in a circuit so that when they squeezed the trigger to fire the gun, it fired the igniters on the engines because the engines would stall out from all the smoke from the gun.
The freaking A10s are just so cool. I wish they modernized them a little bit
They are.
because they're all decommissioned. Nobody has them anymore. There's no active A10s in the U.S. anymore.
I hear they're bringing them back.
There might be a couple National Guards that still have them. The federal government doesn't use A10s anywhere anymore. Connecticut decommissioned ours like 10 years ago. We're all helicopter now. We don't have any jets, which is stupid because I never got that. Here we are. We have the sub base, EB, right at the point of Connecticut. It's Long Island, New York, but we have Plum Island, which is, if you wanted to be a terrorist and really hurt the Eastern Seaboard, hit Plum Island. We have like 3 nuclear power plants within 50 miles of here. And we don't have any air defense other than helicopters.
Oh, it's Pratt & Whitney, GE, Sikorsky.
Yeah, all that crap. And we have no jet fighter air defense at all in Connecticut anymore.
That's dumb.
Yeah, you think? The feds have what? There's one I think there's one in Rhode Island with the F-16s. And then Massachusetts have some F-15s up in, but that, even as a jet flying, that's still 10 minutes away.
I heard they're revamping some of the old F-16s and putting the F-22 Raptor engines in them.
I have no idea. I always thought, I know the F-15 is a bigger, faster plane. I just think the F-16 is a cooler looking plane. I just think it's awesome. It's like a tiny little freaking rocket.
It's a sports car of the air.
Yeah.
They can pull some wicked turns with it because the pilot position is a lot towards like laying down, so the G-forces aren't as bad.
Yeah. I don't know. From what I understand, the F-16 is actually unstable. It's designed to be unstable. The computer has to keep it flight.
Most of the modern planes are like that.
Yeah. Without the computer, it cannot fly because it won't. They're actually not aerodynamically stable deliberately so they can handle faster, do things quicker.
Old curmudgeon got to see a spooky in action. Those are cool. I worked on the propellers for those. The 4-blade, the 6-blade, and the 8-blade.
The what?
C-130 that they turn into a flying gunship.
Oh, that's the big freaking monster thing that.
Four engine.
Yeah, it just circles around the battlefield, and then the guys
Yeah.
in the ground go, "Hey, blow up this area!" And all of a sudden, this massive gun just goes, and the whole area just turns to dust.
And they have a 105 millimeter howitzer on them.
Yeah.
They're still making and improving those.
Well, how can you beat that? I mean, that's like, it's not even on a battlefield, and it just destroys everything in the area.
They have a target area the size of a football field. You wouldn't be able to lay down a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper anywhere on that field where a bullet didn't hit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's insane.
105 howitzer.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
That's got to be freaking loud inside the fuselage when that thing goes off. Oh boy.
Gatling guns are freaking cool.
You don't have any
Cool.
IDEX printers, do you, Llama?
No. I don't have any multicolor anything. I have no desire for it. Just more complications unnecessary. Yeah, actually, if I were going to do multicolor, I would probably do an IDEX, but I just don't. Yeah, at least you don't have the purge block all the time.
The latest job I'm working on, I'm thinking of asking for payment in the form of a printer. I'm looking at that Hicktop Hero.
Never heard of it. I keep forgetting Hicktop. Even you realize this thing's actually a Hicktop. Max Micron's a Hicktop. Same thing. Max Micron was like the Lexus of Hicktop. Hicktop's Toyota, and the Max Micron's were the Lexus.
I did a lot of work on the Raptor, Vince, and I worked on the vectoring nozzle. The engine, I did the tolerance stack up for the entire engine to every hookup, every hose, every wire, everything that hooks onto that engine. I did the tolerance study on that.
It is all kind of weird out. It's all like,
boy, did we get some rain yesterday in the afternoon. Lightning, thunderstorm.
yeah, but
We got
that's
2 to
Florida.
4 inches of rain in about 3 hours.
That's Florida. And then 10 minutes later, it's sunny out.
Yep. That's a big coffee cup.
Not really.
No?
Well, it's a restaurant style. What most of the restaurants use. Similar. It's a 14 or a 16 ounce. I think it's a 14 ounce, actually. This actually holds more.
I got a 20.
I had mixed juice and coffee. I don't know why. I just like it. I like coffee and I like juice. I like hot and I like cold.
What's on your agenda for today?
I don't know. Very little.
Got 2 1 o'clock streams coming up today. Got Work Hockey and TH3D.
Yeah. Probably watch Work Hockey. Although I don't know. Who's he got on? I don't even remember. Somebody I wasn't honestly all that interested in, to be honest with you. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not something I wasn't. No. Different one. I don't know. I can't remember. Somebody's having an interview of like some dude that has nothing to do with anything that I've ever heard of. Some technical, like computer geeky thing, which is fine. I mean, that's great. It's just not my interest, so why watch it?
Yeah.
It wasn't, it wasn't 3D printed related. It was more computery, like Adafruit kind of Adreno programming geek crap that
It's all Greek to me.
Yeah, I don't understand any of it, and I really have no interest in understanding any of it.
I'm trying a thermal paste experiment. You know, the super lube tubes of grease that everybody loves for the lead screws and all that. They make a thermal paste in that same size container, which just arrived at my door this morning, and it's cheap. It was only like $5 or $6, and there should be enough in there to last you a lifetime.
But why? I have a little itty bitty syringe that's lasted me a lifetime. I mean, if I was doing that crap every day, but again, I don't even want to do it. I don't like it.
I got the big tube for half the price of the little tube.
Yeah,
I got
I get
times
it.
as much.
Oh crap! I got to. I have to find a way to get this to Devin. But I think what I'm going to do.
Green screen.
Huh?
Green screen.
Yeah.
Hold it and put it in a priority mail envelope.
Now that costs more than a green screen costs. It's like $12 to use a priority mail envelope this size. But I've got these, which it won't fit in one. But I think if I put two side by side, it will. I think I can stuff it in two of these and just kind of tape them together. And who cares? I mean, it's just a piece of freaking fabric. I wish I could fit it in one. I wish I had one of those Tyvek bags that would fit right in one of those. Because believe it or not, doing this saves me like $3. Saves her. She's going to pay the shipping. Saves her like $3 in shipping by putting it in bags. If it'll fit. This might be a little too hokey.
Starting to warm up. I got to turn the fans on.
Might be a little too hokey, even for me. But then again, maybe not. It looks like it might work. That actually don't look bad.
Looks like an airline filler.
I got to reverse so the little seal tabs will seal against each other. Wrap some tape around it. And I am done. I think that'll work. I think I'm going to do that. And that's just what I'm going to do. I seal that one to this. And this one to that. That ain't going nowhere. Put a label on it and she's done.
There you go.
That actually worked really well. Better than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah,
like one freaking tube instead of two little ones.
I got all the windows blocked off with the shiny 1-inch insulation. This room's the farthest from the air conditioner and gets the most sun exposure. So, and with all the printers and computers, it gets hot in here. So I'm in a cave.
Caveman Jimmy.
Remember the old cartoon Captain Caveman?
Yes, I do. I was just going to say that just before you did. Just after. Whatever. Just as you were saying, I was thinking the same thing. That always used to come on right after El Kabong. And Deputy Dog. Dippity-do, there's a monster in the creek muck.
They won't even let them make cartoons like that anymore.
Oh, I know. They banned Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner for years after that kid threw his brother off the freaking cliff. You remember that? Back in the mid-'80s when they banned Bugs Bunny Roadrunner? Because some 12-year-old kid threw his 5-year-old brother off a cliff because he figured he'd just pull out his umbrella and walk away like a accordion.
Yeah.
No, he kind of
going off a cliff. We used to go to Penwood State Park. It's on the border between Bloomfield and Simsbury. We go up there every day after work and fire up a couple of logs and have some beers. And there's a cliff that looks out to the west. I don't know, a few hundred feet high. Everybody would go and watch the sunset. And the wind always comes out of the west. And you could take a bottle cap and flip it out over the edge of the cliff, and it would float and dance on the wind until it finally peeled off and went. It's about 60 or 70 of us up there one day. One of the guys fired a bottle cap off the cliff, and from about 10 feet behind me, there was this guy. He just beat feet right straight for the edge of the cliff and just ran right off. And everybody's talking, and all of a sudden it went dead quiet. I looked at the guy I was with, and I said, "Did you see what I just saw?" He goes, "Yep." Sucker went right off that cliff and lived. Pine trees at the bottom slowed him down. He broke almost every bone in his body. Took him like 4 or 5 hours to get him out of there. I ran into the guy 2 years later. He still wasn't walking good. I didn't have the heart to ask him, "Why did you do that?"
You dumbass. Did you ever go to Devil's Hop Yard when you were up in this area?
Yeah, once or twice.
You ever go out in the woods to that cliff?
No, I don't think I hit that.
You basically can see all the way. It's like, 25, 30 miles inland. But if you look down the valley, you can actually see the shore. It's like the valley goes right down to the water. Anyway, there's this big cliff. It's not huge, but it's, probably 100-foot cliff. And we all used to, on a normal breezy day, you take a beer can, you can drink your beer, you empty it out, and you throw it out and slightly up, and the wind will catch it and bring it right back to you.
To put a little spin
always catch it.
I don't know, old curmudgeon. I knew the guy. He was a couple of years behind me in school. His name was Jimmy Armour. And I saw him a couple of years later, and he was still walking all screwed up. And I didn't have the heart to ask him, "Why the hell did you do that?"
Yeah, he was on something.
Either that or he was heartbroken over some girl that he probably can't remember her name now.
Probably not. That ain't no reason to run off a cliff, though. Maybe throw her off the cliff. But
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I was always very limber and had no problems. I used to crawl right up cliffs and cliff climb and go mountain climbing. Now that my legs are wobbly, I'll tell you what, the last couple of times I've gotten to the edge of a cliff, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not as stable as I used to be. I'm a little more top heavy and not quite as stable. The old inner ear crap ain't working as well as it used to.
At Penwood Park, they had a road that was a one-way road that used to wind all the way through the park. They closed that off years ago, but when the road was open, man, that was the party place in the summertime. They had a big field area with picnic pavilions, and then they had little spots all along the way where you could pull over, and they had picnic tables. But the road was in rough shape because all the tree roots. And we were up there one Saturday, and some idiot let a 14-year-old borrow his hardtail Harley. And he come bombing down the road and hitting them tree roots, and the back end of that bike got dancing back and forth. And he went sideways right into a 6-foot diameter oak tree.
Ouch.
Oak tree one. Peeled his whole face off to the side.
All right, then. Happy times.
Yeah. Wasn't but a year or two after that they closed the road down. Now you got to walk around if you want to get through there.
Yeah, that's like freaking the train. I don't know if do you ever go up to Gillette's Castle?
Yes.
Do you ever do the train walk where the old train set used to be? People don't even realize the guy who wrote the original Sherlock Holmes books was named Gillette. That was his name. And he built this stone castle up in line. Like, it's not that, I mean, people don't realize Sherlock Holmes isn't late 1900s. It was like, he wrote that in like 1920s, 1930s. Anyway, I mean, it's old for us, but it's not like medieval times. But he built this medieval castle to live on out in the middle of the Connecticut River shore. And he built a train set in his yard. It was like you see in the malls, it was a little train. You rode on it. You could sit on it. It was only, the engine was only like 3.5, 4 foot long. And you sat on it and he'd ride it around. And this thing had like a, 10-mile track through its property. But he had one of them where he built this bridge, like a real live iron bridge, going over this cavern on the side of the river. And there's this steel bridge. And there used to be a trail and you could walk on it. It kind of got, when we were kids, we used to go out on the steel bridge and hang out. And now it's like closed off. The thing collapsed like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But you used to be able to go out on it. I mean, it had all guardrails and it was a walkway. It was no longer train tracks. But all those train tracks are still paths, tunnels, freaking bridges, all kinds of crap. Like, I don't know. I think he had 6 or 8 or 10 miles of train track. And he just freaking ride his little toy train through the woods.
That must have been cool.
That guy had to have been a freaking weirdo. I mean, think about it. He built a castle, like a real stone, real live, like English or Scottish castle in the middle of the freaking woods. But, back then, it's still kind of out in the middle of nowhere, even in today's world.
Yeah, variety is what makes the world interesting.
It's still there.
Hudgen was asking if that train was live steam.
I believe it was steam driven. I'm not positive what actually drove it, but I'm pretty sure it was steam driven. It wasn't electric because there wasn't electrical big then. Everything was gas or. Oh my God, the castle. We're spending the Connecticut they just approved like $6.5 million to rebuild that thing because it's a state park now. The whole thing's a big state park. Out in the middle of nowhere.
For a long time.
Huh?
Gillette Castle has been park.
Actually, I mean, a long time for us. In the gist of things, it really hasn't been that long. I think the 50s or the 60s they made it a state park.
We used to go to the other state park across the road from Penwood, Talcott Mountain State Park. It's that one with the Ubline Tower on it. You can see from Hartford. It's got the big tall tower on top of the mountain.
Yeah, that's just outside of Middletown.
Oh no, it's up by Hartford. It's right in between.
The hell's
Bloomfield
you guys hear that phone?
What's that?
The phone's like ringing all weird.
Your printer?
No, the phone. My parents' phone. It's like freaking weird. I got to get rid of it. It's Frontier. I know it is. Frontier sucks. I got to get rid of their Frontier for that. And they're paying like $70 a month for a phone, for a landline.
Yeah. Ours is like,
Why? Well, you got long distance on it. It's like, yeah, but I can do long distance worldwide on my cell phone for nothing. Why do you need that?
you can call overseas for no charge?
Yeah, on my cell phones you can.
Wow.
Actually, I think it's just Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, usually it's just North America.
Yeah, I think it is just more North America. But I think it's a flat rate. No, we can call Europe because I call my brother. My brother goes to Europe a couple times a year. He goes, him and his wife. And I always call him, although he might be paying the charge, not me.
Uh,
That could be it.
so you still got that big pile of wood chips sitting out there?
Oh, frick yeah. Wood chips, wood. Probably 3/4 wood laying out there in the yard. It's actually probably what I'm going to do later on today is just start stacking what I can of it. I kept telling them, thank God they were smarter than me. I kept telling them, I'll just cut it in, 8 to 10 foot lengths. They're like, yeah, we'll do that with the smaller stuff, but when we get down to the bottom, we're going to thank God because they pancaked the last, the biggest tree out there is it's probably a 2.5, 3 foot diameter trunk. And they pancake sliced it for me so I can actually move it.
Yeah.
It's big, they're probably 6 inches wide and this big around. And I still think I'm going to have a hard time moving it because it's all, it's not cherry, it's like oak. Or no, I think it's cherry, it's not oak. I don't know. It's not oak, it's something else. They said, I always thought it was just an oak tree, but it's not. I can't tell the difference. I can tell you what a birch and an oak look like, and that's about it. And half the time I look at an oak and say, hey, that's an oak. And they go, no, it's not. It's a cherry or an ash or a... It's like, oh, okay. Fucking tree. Cut it down. Get it out of my way. I do like the orange trees. I want to actually, I've been thinking because the apple trees are short. They don't get really big. I've been thinking about replacing those couple trees with like an apple tree or something. Just to cover the ground again and get some buffer in the driveway in the house. And just have something there besides just moss.
You got to get yourself some Pachysandra.
Yeah, whatever that is.
It's a ground cover that'll grow in underneath the trees. It likes shady areas. It prevents weeds and stuff, and it stays green all year. Looks nice.
Yeah, the moss kind of does too. The moss is the first thing to go green and the last thing to go brown. I like the moss. Plus, there's like 4 or 5 different varieties of moss out there. So you get that variety of texture.
It's a good place.
I like the moss. People are like, why do you like that moss? And then they come up and look at the property after I've cleaned it all up. And they're like, actually, the moss is pretty nice. I'm going to pop some of it out of that middle island and go into these few areas I've been clearing out that haven't had time yet. And I'll pop out like a 12-inch circle of it and just drop it on the ground out there. Within 2 or 3 months, it'll spread right out.
Yep.
Take over the area. And it'll grow right on top of all that loose, crushed leaf I got now.
Well, it'll love that right up.
Spread right out. Soak it right up. You don't even have to do it. You literally just dig up a chunk of it, make sure you get all the root bed, and just throw it on the ground out there somewhere else. It'll just freaking start growing. You don't have to mow it. It stays green. It only gets about that tall.
Perfect.
It's soft on your feet. Stuff doesn't really like growing around it. About the only thing that does grow out of it is briars. And the briars, you see them and they start popping up and you just go out there with a weed whacker and you go, ding, and the briar's gone. Yeah, I like the moss. It just looks good, too. It just gives you that kind of even look. And I like the varieties, too. Gives it texture. And I don't have to mow it. That's the best part.
That's the best part.
About twice a year, I go out there with a weed whacker and I grow anything, knock down anything that's more than a foot tall. And I get yelled at for that because then my mother goes, "Oh, that was some kind of flowering this or that and the other thing." It's like, oh well,
Not anymore.
it should have stayed shorter. Now I do want to get like some, I don't know what you call them, but some of the flowering bushes and maybe an apple tree or two out there. The whole front of my driveway used to be, I don't know how to describe it, but there used to be apple trees lining the whole edge of my driveway down at the very beginning. And when my neighbor bought the property out back, he knew we'd have more traffic. My driveway used to come like right off the road, and then the hill was like really steep and short, and then it leveled off. And when he came and his wife was going to drive, and they had like cars, we always had like trucks and stuff. He kind of graded off the hill and like took the top of the hill and brought it to the bottom and made the hill longer but less steep with the big backhoes and stuff. And the problem is he killed off a bunch of the apple trees doing that.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to bring them back. There's a couple in the woods that I just cleared out. Crap grew around them. I cleared them out about a month ago. It looks like one or two of them might come back. But I'd like to put the apple trees back. Not just there, but up here too.
Save some of the seeds this year and
Well, they're crab apples. You can't save them. The deer eat them all. They're long gone. Between the deer and the birds, there ain't no freaking seeds left.
Yeah.
The deer eat them like crazy. They love those little crab apples. You never even get to try them. I don't know if you ever had a crab apple, but they're actually not bad.
Yeah, my neighbor had a tree.
But we never even get them. They never get beyond green here.
I think the deer like the fermented ones. I think they get a buzz off them.
Yeah, maybe. They never get to the fermented part here. They said the deer eat them long before they ever even like ripen at all. They're still green and the deer are chopping them down. Unless they're really, really, really high, and most of ours aren't that tall that the deer can't get to them. Most of them are only 6 feet tall, if that. So the deer pretty much wipe them out every year. Which is the other reason I think they're dying off is none of them, they eat the leaves and everything off them. I guess the leaves are really flavorful for the deer too.
They stress the trees. They never catch up.
Yeah, well, they don't. Yeah, they don't get to grow proper. Anyway, thinking of that, what time is it? Been almost an hour, almost 10 o'clock. I might go out and roll some logs around and kind of stack it up. Hopefully my neighbor will have enough intelligence to take his truck and pick it up.
Yeah.
If I know him, he'll wait until frickin' next fall when he wants to burn it. And he's like, "Oh, you still got that wood out there, huh? I'm going to take it now." It's like, no. I'm going to give it to somebody else or sell it now. Douchebag, get the hell out of my yard. You want it for
Cord of
free?
wood goes for what, 120 to 180?
Yeah, something like that. Actually, I think it's more. I think it's well over $200 now for a cord of wood.
You could sell that wood and get you another printer.
Yeah, I could pay for having the trees chopped down.
There you go.
I made about $200. I had them walk through my garage. They were just hanging out afterwards having a beer. Walked them through my garage. I sold them a whole bunch of my old tools and some of my father's tools. I think I made about $200 back.
There you go.
It's Viking. Just in time for us to leave because I didn't want to kill it in a minute or two.
A lot of my grandfather's old tools.
Huh?
Hey, the Viking is here.
I
You
think
gonna jump in this morning?
I'm going to go out and throw some logs around and kind of straighten up the pile as much as I can. Because it is a cluster fuck out there. They just dropped them wherever they dropped, which is fine. I mean, I told them to. I don't want to waste money having them straighten it up. That's crap I can do.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend the money having them cutting down more and me cleaning it up than them wasting time cleaning it up and not getting as much cut down.
That wood will be ready to burn next fall.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, most of it's like, I think it's ash, he said. I don't know. There's a couple of birch and one or two little oaks, too. But most of it's the big two one were pretty sure he said it was ash. which I didn't look like ash to me. I always thought ash had a weirder leaf, but I don't know. Looked like oak.
I miss the chestnut trees.
Yeah.
Those all died off.
Going around here.
Used to have a giant chestnut tree about a half a mile from my house.
Isn't that the one that got wiped out by the butterflies or whatever?
Yeah. Those used to be gorgeous trees.
Yeah, they're the ones that had the big, because Devil's Hop Yard had the massive forest fire there, I don't know, back in the late 80s. Because the moth came through and wiped out all those trees. That's 90% of what the forest was in there. Then somebody started a campfire and all the trees are dead and it just went just wiped the whole park out. That whole park burned down like mid 80s.
North Carolina, Virginia are getting the gypsy moths this year.
Yeah, we don't get them so much anymore. They got traps everywhere for them now.
They're on a 13-year or a 17-year cycle.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't really get them that much because we got them all trapped. Everybody gets traps. Well, the parks trap them, and then if they know they're going to be bad, the state hands out traps for everyone. You just hang them on the tree with this goop. Yeah. You put that, like, it's almost like tar on the tree. You just put a ring of it around all your trees, and it catches them all.
Yeah, Mike, those chestnuts were tough on bare feet.
Yeah, acorns are too from the oak trees. Pine cones are too. Pine cones really suck on bare feet.
Why don't you stream this morning, Viking?
Yeah, why don't you start up a stream, Viking? Because I'm going to kill it in about a minute.
Yeah. Let everybody get together and chew the fat some more.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go out and throw some logs around for an hour.
Well, take it easy on the knees.
Yeah, that don't bother my knees. It's more of a back thing. I'm not even going to do anything with them. I'm just going to stack it, basically. Take the smaller stuff out of there and probably bring it down to the pit because no one's going to want to burn that crap anyways. There's a bunch of like little 2.5, 2-inch diameter stuff that's
kindling.
Yeah, nobody really wants that. We haven't had a problem with firewood. Firewood's actually gone down around here lately because we've had so many damn storms that when the state went and plus the state's clearing, the governor after the last hurricane, 3 years ago, made a new law that the power company has to clear 20 feet now instead of 10 feet from the power lines.
Mm.
And they're actually letting them, the tree companies are stripping the trees, doing basically like they did out here. They're stripping the trees, taking the branch, chopping up the branch and leaving the logs. And you can get a permit for $25 to go behind them and just pick up the wood.
Wow. You make some money doing that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys are just doing it to burn the wood.
Yeah.
So you can go right down the road with the permit, and as long as it's, safe location and blah, 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 you got to park proper, and, there's a whole bunch of regulations, but you could just go right behind them that night. You can't do it while they're doing it, but at the end of the day, when they're done, you can go park on the side of the road and start yanking freaking logs out of the woods on the side of the road. I think it was $25 for the permit, and the permit's good for a week or two.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, a lot of guys are just filling up pickup trucks. Hell, if you can get half a dozen cord of wood out of it for $25 for free.
Yeah. There goes most of your heating season if you're burning it.
Yep.
I like the pellet stoves. I think those are cool.
Yeah, I don't really care. I wish I could put a wood stove in here. My mother's kind of weird on all that crap. She don't like open flame.
The flame on a pellet stove is so small, it's like the size of your fist.
When they were young, when my parents first got married, my father was in the Army, and they were stationed down there in Texas. This is in the late 50s, early 60s. One of the whole base burned up because somebody left a wood stove going, and It caught fire in the base, and it was one of those base housing. I mean, everybody had a little mobile home basically you lived in, and it just wiped out the whole base.
Probably
So
a chimney
now
fire.
both my parents have always been afraid of anything wood stoves, gas stoves, anything with open flame. That's why this house is all electric. The whole everything in here. There's no gas stove. There's no gas anything. It's all electric. Refrigerators, heat, stoves, washers, dryers.
You guys get
really
good gas in New England.
It really isn't. Actually, electric right now in this area is the cheapest heating, it was back then. Right now, it's not. It's actually cheaper to heat with electric than it is gas or oil right now here.
That's weird.
Well, we got the power plant right here. We get a discount because we live so close to the power plant. Don't forget, I got an atomic power plant 5 miles away.
Yeah, Millstone
radiated. Now you guys know why I'm such a weirdo.
That explains it.
Radiated every day, all day long.
What are you paying? 13 cents kilowatt hour? Or?
Oh God, no. I think it's 7 or 8.
Damn, that's cheap.
Yeah. I pay $400 a month year round every month. Flat rate. No matter what.
Yeah, down here it's like 13 cents a kilowatt hour.
And that's everything. That's my big ass garage. That's all my printers running. That's heating this monster house. Not that it's that big of a house. That's hot water tanks. And actually it went down because I put a heat pump in. And they came and verified it a month after that. And my bill should be going down. I think it's only like $325 or $350 now. The minute I put that hot water tank in there.
Heat pump sucking sucking heat out of the groundwater?
No, it sucks it out of the air.
So it doesn't really work in the winter.
No, it works fine because it's a heat pump. It still heats the water. The problem is it's just pulling it out of the air, which I've got to heat. It's in the basement, but it's really good in the summertime because the air conditions the basement. It's drying my basement out. Not only is it cooler in the basement in the summer, but it's drier. My basement is wicked dry now with that thing down there.
That's
I'm going to put a vent on it this year, I think, after the summer's over. I'm going to put a vent out with a little flippy valve, like you do on some dryers and stuff. So in the wintertime, I can vent it outside, and in the summer, I can vent it back into the house. But it like halved my electric bill. It's like ridiculous. That was like my number one, year-round service. I mean, obviously the heat is more in the wintertime, but I don't really run the heat. I turn my heat off. My heat has not been on since like March. The only place that's being heated is the basement because my mother's down there. She's got 80 freaking degrees down there. It is. It's 80 degrees. I'm not kidding. Believe it or not, I got those little roll around heaters now. I got off Amazon for $100. They work better than baseboard. They're more efficient too. My baseboard in the kitchen, blower heater baseboard. I had baseboard and a blower heater in the kitchen that blew out, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I bought one of those temporarily. And I bought a little meter to see how much it cost to run it. It cost me $23 to run it for 3 months to heat my kitchen. I was like, that's cheaper than what I was paying for a regular heat. I'm going to buy more of them things.
There you go.
And they're $100. You know what I'm talking about. They're like,
yeah,
they look like an old-fashioned steam radiator on wheels, but they're electric and they're filled with oil.
Yep.
But they're radiant, so you don't want them right up against the wall, but you put them close to a wall, 2-3 feet away. It just heats the wall and everything. Everything just gets warm. And once they've been on, the only thing is they're always on. They never turn off. They just always run. But it's like this nice, even kind of soft heat. It's not like these freaking things. That's a 220 baseboard. It kicks on and like all of a sudden my room's 90 degrees and then it kicks off and it's 50 degrees.
Yeah.
And your feet are always cold with those because all the heat's up there.
Those little radiators are nice because they don't dry the air out so bad.
Yeah, they're way better than these. I think I'm going to you can actually replace this with a hydraulic one, and I think I'm going to. Regular electric baseboard's like $30 for an 8-footer. Hydraulic is like $130, but I think it's worth it. I think I'm gonna get a couple and try them.
How did that plumbing job go with your buddy the other day?
That was my brother.
Oh, okay.
It sort of went. It's there. The first set of lines are in. We're just replacing everything. It's gotten, it's a 1950s house with all the original copper, and the guy is worse of a plumber than I am. Put it this way, his plumbing right now is a circle. It's not a line.
Yeah.
It's a circle with a reclaimer, which is stupid because it's city water. You don't need a reclaimer, which also loses some of your pressure. And I mean, some of those lines, I wasn't even going to do the whole thing. And now I know we're going to, because a couple of them, we were pulling the copper out and I could just grab the copper and go snap. It'd snap it right in half. I literally did to take some of it down. I just grabbed it with both hands and twisted it and it popped right apart. It was like, wow. Guess we're getting some more freaking packs.
Yeah, got the old cast iron stacks, vent stacks.
No, most of it has been redone in plastic. There's a few cast irons pieces left, but most of it's plastic already. He redid that when he first bought it. A lot of the drains, because it had drainage problems originally. Because the guy plumbed the whole thing and never put a vent in it. Not one. There was not a single vent in his plumbing when he first bought that house.
How do you get it to work?
Good question. Not one vent, dude. Not one. It was just
I don't get it.
I guess it vented through the sinks. I don't know.
Had to pull it from somewhere.
Good question. It was a little hunting cabin that the guy bought and he rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt and added onto and rebuilt and added onto. It was one of those deals. So there's it's not even that big of a house. It's smaller than this one, but it's got like 6 additions on it. It's one of those, they took the roof and jacked it up, put another floor on it, but the second floor is all like 6 ceilings. They're not even 7-foot ceilings. They're all little, in the cathedral ceilings, and the highest point you can barely stand up in. I mean, I'm short, and I feel like I got to go like this walking around in the bedrooms upstairs. It's one of them kind of deals. They put the last edition on. He put this big, massive living room on it. Did all trusses, and I have a feeling the whole thing was like one of those pre-built kits that you just did add onto it. The pool, because it used to have a pool, they put the freaking house lower than the pool patio. Like 6 inches lower. So not only is it rotting away the sill constantly, but there's crap growing in it, and you can't get it because they only put like a little 3-inch gap, like a rain gutter between the house and the pool patio. And the pool patio is 6 inches above. You step out the slider and you step up onto the pool patio.
No good.
Yeah, no, the whole thing's rotting away. I'm like, dude, just tear the freaking house down. Freaking add on to the foundation. It was really the only thing left of that house that's any good. The one good thing is it's only 2-3 miles from the quarry in Rhode Island. I don't know if you know where the Rhode Island's big. That's what made the state of Rhode Island is the granite quarries. And he's got all the failed bridge block. Like the block didn't quite cut right or something.
Yeah.
So that whole foundation is 2.5 foot deep by 4 foot long by 2 foot high blocks of granite.
That shit'll be there when the sun burns.
That's the only thing in that house that's worth anything is that foundation. It's literally like this deep, 2.5 foot deep, solid block granite. And they're all, I think they're 3 foot long and 2 foot high or something like that. I don't know. They're pretty granite. The outside is all got the face and everything to make them all pretty, and it's all made for the bridges. And whenever it didn't cut quite right, the guy who worked at the freaking thing, he'd just take them home. And he built his whole foundation out of them. There's, like 100 of them.
He didn't throw those in his lunchbox and walk out the door.
I have a feeling the original owner, owned the company or one of some, I don't know. But it's just the one wall. It's the exposed because it's a walkout basement on the one side.
Yeah.
But it's got like a carport wall too that goes out because the ground's all higher than the foundation. And you walk out the garage or out the basement, and there's like a wall of granite too that goes out and then curls.
Hmm.
It almost looks like it was originally a garage, but it's too low. It's always full of water. That backyard is always full of water. So I don't know why they did that.
Some French drains or something.
Yeah, no, it's like the lowest point. There's no place to drain it to. Everything around it is higher. All the neighbors are higher. It's like you dug it out to make a drive-in garage and then didn't think about how to drain it away. And now it's, because he's right on the water too. He's only maybe 2 miles inland. So you dig down any deeper, you're on the water table.
Half of Rhode Island's on the water.
Yeah. Well, Rhode Island's more cliffy than Connecticut is.
Anyway. I was asking you how your password problem went.
I'm still going. I just gave up on it. I got enough stuff running. I had to do it again today. It was freaking annoying. Twitter wouldn't access for some reason. I had to reset all the passwords. StreamYards, I had to freaking redo the passwords, the whole verification. I love how it's like you do it on your iPad and it just sends an email to your iPad. Like, that's protecting me. If someone had my damn iPad and was trying to access it, they got the the freaking message with the code you just sent. What the hell good is that? How is that protecting me? That's just making me do more steps to make you feel better. Yeah. It's not saving me. I just find that whole passcode verification bull crap. That's just some freaking security guy going, I need to make more money and, verify that I actually have a job.
We have the technology. It's time to go to the fingerprint stuff.
Yeah, but even that's easy to fake. But who's going to actually spend the time to fake it? I just don't. I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah, you really should have gone on Twitter and read my message last night. I was ripping pissed. Dude, I gutted my computer at like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was 9 o'clock at night I finished.
Good Lord.
And I mean, it's still not finished. It's just to the point where I can say, okay, basically everything I need to do, I can run. And it only took like an hour for the operating system and everything to load and get everything back on the computer. It's just doing passwords, trying to figure out the whole, and I got all the passwords. It's just you do the password and like, oh, we need to verify it with this, that, and the other thing. It's like, I set it up with like fastermac.com like 20 years ago. I don't have Faster Mac anymore. It doesn't even exist. There is no Faster Mac internet service provider anymore. They don't exist. How am I going to get my password? Yeah, every time, the whole two-factor, every time bull crap, I put the password in. Send me an email that says, is this really you? That doesn't bother me. Or Google. Google is the worst. Oh, I'm getting my Gmail all set up again. Because Google's always fighting with Apple. So now, I'm using Apple Mail because it's a Mac. It's like Apple Mail is not a verifiable application. Yeah. So it can't let you access your emails. It's like, fuck you can't. Anyway, I'm going to kill it while he's gone. We're staring at the back of a chair. I could go outside and lug logs around. I'm really not in the mood, but I really don't want to leave them there either because it's freaking ugly in my yard. Uh-oh, Amazon. Oh, that was the other thing that was pissing me off yesterday. I hate FedEx in this area. I don't know why FedEx is. I know why they moved there. There used to be a FedEx right in Waterford, and there used to be 6 stations, and in Connecticut. Now there's just one. They got rid of all the FedEx substations and just have one. Superlube. Silicone heat. What? Transfer compound?
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah, I still think you'll find that's not as good as good old silver compound, but
$5.
yeah, but I don't think it's as good. You really shouldn't use it on high-end electronics, from what I understand. I could be totally wrong. I don't know enough about it. Anyways, FedEx delivered a box that never got delivered. They sent me an email that it got delivered, and it never came. Went to all my neighbors, never came. 2 things from FedEx were supposed to be delivered yesterday. 2 hours later, one of them came. The guy goes, "I got 2 boxes for you." I'm like, "Well, where is it?" He goes, "I can only find one." Well, here's one. I'm like, "Dude, the other one's you already checked it off somewhere." It was not. I didn't take it off the truck. Never scanned it. It would have beeped if I scanned it in the GPS location, because they scan it. If the GPS location doesn't match it beeps. So somewhere along the line, a freaking box of juice from Walmart it's in somebody else's yard. So I got to fight with them today. Crap.
It's
Hate FedEx.
heat sink compound. I'm going to put it from Florida up to Canada. We get cooler and you get warmer.
Okay. Going to cause a global evening.
Global evening. Yes.
Global evening. You're not going to get warmer. You're not going to get colder. It's just going to even it out.
There you go.
That's what I want. I want global evening. Even the temperature. Everybody is about the same. It can be like 20 degrees cooler up in Canada and 10 degrees or 20 degrees warmer down in Florida, and have that little bit of variety. But this whole freaking 50, 60 degree fluctuation is way too much. Needs to be 50s at night and like 70 during the day, 300 days a year, and then 56 days a year can be either really hot or really cold, and be done with it.
There you go.
That's what we got to do. We got to coat the world in freaking heat sink compound. I'm going to turn on the air conditioning. Screw that. God, I hate air conditioning. I hate air conditioning more than I hate heat. Anyway, I am going to kill it because I'm going to go outside.
Been nice chatting with everybody today. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Hey, Viking, go start up a freaking...
He's tired.
I don't care. He's always tired. The only time he's awake is at 4 o'clock in the morning, freaking vampire. It's fun making fun of Viking. Anyways, I'm off. Later, guys.
Bye.